Matt Rife may be buds with one of the world's most edgy comics and be mentored by a genuine comedy OG. But in the age of the internet, fans are always watching, for better or for worse. Over the years, Matt Rife's jokes have generated a lot of controversy, and he's not alone. Dave Chappelle has also faced a tsunami of backlash for his work, and despite being an odd couple, the two have formed a bit of a bromance. It's Chappelle's sister's fault. She was a major Rife fan, the kind who'd drive 30 minutes to see him play a small Ohio club, and she introduced him to her famous brother. They hit it off so well that Chappelle asked Rife to be one of the comedians in his annual outdoor comedy festival summer camp. Rife accepted and blew the house down. The crowds actually leapt to their feet at the end of his set. Soon, Chappelle began helping the younger comic with his career.
He, over the past 6 months, has become an incredible mentor and has just given me so much advice.
Rife may have made it big on TikTok, but that doesn't mean he likes social media. In fact, he can't stand it, but he admits that it saved his comedy career. In an appearance on The View, Rife explained that after 11 years of struggling to make it, nothing was happening, so he did a hard pivot.
I was like, let me just try the one thing I've always hated and the world seems to be so about. Let's give social media a chance.
It didn't take long for social media users to fall in love with his stand-up. Rife's career took off from there. One might think Rife's status as an overnight internet success changed his mind about social media. That would be wrong.
I still hate social media. I love my fans and the people that found me.
Chappelle hasn't been Rife's only mentor along the way. Whoopi Goldberg is another comic who's experienced her share of controversy. That may be at least part of why she feels an affinity for Rife. As for Rife, he's had to make some serious decisions about the kind of material he's going to do.
You have to just, decide how much do you want to be yourself and how much do you want to pander to a community that might not even care about you in the first place.
No sooner were these words out of Rife's mouth than Sunny Hostin noted how often Whoopi says the same thing, which led to a moment of understanding between the two comedians.
Your work is wonderful.
Goldberg and Rife bonded over the experience of being a comic in the crosshairs in an age where, for whatever reason, people feel entitled to literally get in your face.
People do feel like they can come up and say anything to you or spit at you or take a swing.
Rife doesn't hesitate when it comes to praising the comics who came before him, even expressing a little envy of earlier comedians who were able to express themselves before the era of cancel culture.
I do feel like I missed out on a better generation of comedy, for sure.
Looking at the bright side, Rife pointed out that the ability to call out others goes both ways.
As much as they're free to say anything they want about their opinion about my comedy, I feel like I have the same freedom to say whatever I want in the form of comedy.
It's hard to imagine what Rife's career would have looked like back in the day, though. Before hitting it big on the internet, he struggled to navigate LA's legendary comedy club scene. And it was arguably only because of social media that Rife was able to propel himself into the spotlight. Without it, who knows where Rife would be? In December 2024, Rife's memoir, Your Mom's Gonna Love Me, hit bookstores. His Instagram self-promo read, "Learn way too much about me, stories I've never told, and what keeps me going every day." It's not often that someone writes their memoirs before they turn 30, but in typical Rife fashion, he couldn't care less.
I'm WNBA champion Matt Rife, and I'm just finishing up the 2 biggest years of my life.
In an appearance on Today, Rife explained,
Sometimes it's easy to forget exactly how much work you put in to get where you're at right now.
Rife's publisher, Penguin, takes a similar unapologetic approach to describing the book, writing, Matt reveals without apology everything that led him to becoming comedy's biggest lightning rod before he reached 30, in a story full of bold and hysterical takes.
I know a thing or two about red flags, and pricey makeup, you deserve better than that.
Rife may credit social media for his sudden rise to fame, but it's important to note that one specific subset of followers launched him to stardom: women. In an interview with Variety, Rife admitted, "One of the biggest misconceptions of things I get ridiculed online for is people are like, oh, he only has a female fan base. In the beginning, yes, because I did blow up on TikTok, which is very female dominant." Rife's Netflix special Natural Selection was aimed squarely at a male audience, opening with a joke about domestic violence, which alienated Rife's female fans once and for all. So when Elf Cosmetics invited Rife to rep their brand in a commercial, the backlash was immediate. Women took to the internet to protest, asking why they should buy a product promoted by someone who doesn't seem to like women. Before long, Elf issued a public apology on Instagram stating, "This campaign aimed to humorously spotlight beauty and justice. We understand we missed the mark with people we care about in our Elf community." In June 2023, Matt Rife took to Instagram to announce his upcoming Problematic World Tour with an assist from Ashton Kutcher.
Prepare yourself for the tour of a lifetime. Your wish is my command. Go!
The packed tour schedule included more than 100 shows across North America and Europe, but the road life took an unexpected toll on the young comic. And in May 2024, he canceled 2 shows in Bloomington, Indiana, just hours before he was scheduled to take to the stage, tweeting, "I'm so sorry, but due to a last-minute medical emergency, I have to reschedule our shows tonight again. I've been doing 40-plus shows a month for a year and a half and never had to do something like this."
Going from playing clubs for 35 people who got free tickets to we broke Ticketmaster, which is insane.
The Los Angeles Times reported that ticket holders received an email explaining, "On the way to a recent show in Indiana, Matt experienced extreme exhaustion symptoms and nearly fainted heading to the venue. Matt is currently under advisement from his medical team to take immediate time off from touring for 2 weeks." Rife took a break and resumed touring in mid-June. While Rife is hardly an overnight sensation, his rise from relative obscurity to comedy stardom was quick, and he admits it did a number on him. Speaking to Us Weekly, Rife confessed to being a little overwhelmed, saying, "The dream I had was, okay, if I could just sell out weekends at comedy clubs for 300-seat venues, I made it. The level of being a Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Cat Williams, these arena acts and top-tier entertainers never even occurred to me." He recalled the years of waking up each morning and having nothing to do all day until it was time to hit the stage that night, musing, "Now I wake up and go, wow, I don't know if I'll ever have a free day for the rest of my life, which is a blessing and a curse."
I'm on like an hour of sleep right now. I have like horrific insomnia. If I could sleep like a normal person, 6, 7, 8 hours a night, I think I'd be just fine.
As for how his newfound fame has affected his mental health, Rife shared, "It's gotten so much worse. There's no crash course on how to be famous." On the plus side, however, he confirmed that despite his health setback in the middle, the problematic tour gave him the confidence that he could pull off even bigger projects in the future, saying, "I've learned that I'm built for this." A rumor about Rife caught fire in November 2023 thanks to a TikTok video by plastic surgeon Dr. Benjamin Coughlin that quickly went viral. Viewer comments overwhelmingly speculated that Coughlin was referring to Rife, who was not amused. The comedian responded with a comment of his own, writing, "Lying about medical history is illegal, just FYI." Rife then confronted the rumor head-on during an appearance on Access Hollywood when host Mario Lopez asked him to reveal the biggest lie that he'd ever read about himself.
That I've had plastic surgery because puberty hit me so late. I didn't look like this until I was like 23.
But the rumor obviously got under Rife's skin because according to USA Today, he addressed it again during a stand-up set in December 2023, saying, "People were saying I had jaw surgery to have a jawline. I'm like, use your brain. If I'm gonna get transformative surgery done to me, do you think I'm starting with my face? You would never hear me tell another joke for the rest of my life."
I was ugly last week, like it was bad. And now I look like a handsome lesbian. Like it went full spectrum.
There's no question that Rife has become one of the hottest young comics on the stand-up comedy scene. And according to an interview he gave to Men's Health in August 2023, the only thing standing between him and superstardom are his extraordinary good looks.
No, I feel like a porn star who just wants to act.
Apparently, in the world according to Rife, being in killer shape is important when you're starring in a Hollywood action movie, but not when you're telling jokes, Rife explained.
I mean, people don't want to laugh at like physically attractive people. Like you don't want to walk on stage and have people looking at your arms rather than listening to your jokes.
But that didn't stop him from working out. Instead, he bravely bears the burden of his physical beauty, claiming that it forces him to work harder on his material in order to shift the focus away from his buff body. Or, in other words, ladies, my jokes are up here. Rife knew there would be backlash when he joked about domestic abuse in his 2023 Netflix special Matt Rife Natural Selection, but he went for it from the very first joke. It started out as a story about a waitress with a massive black eye.
I feel like if she could cook, she wouldn't have that black eye.
Yikes. But the thing about Rife is that he doesn't care what you think, and he doesn't mind telling you. In a post to his Instagram stories, he wrote, "If you've ever been offended by a joke I've told, here's a link to my official apology." The post included a link that read, "Tap to solve the issue." According to Variety, the link led to a website selling helmets to protect the heads of people with special needs. If anything was an invitation to be canceled, that was, but nothing happened. Rife addressed the lack of actual consequences in a set at the Hollywood Bowl, saying, "What am I gonna do? Get canceled? Cool, I'll do another bowl show, awesome. You know, that's not a real punishment. Nothing happens. Prison's a punishment." Obviously, when it comes to controversy, Rife prefers to push the envelope rather than play it safe. Speaking to Variety, he explained, "I don't believe there's anything you can't talk about if you do it correctly in the right way at the right time. You have to be yourself and not worry about offending a certain amount of people. You might miss out on a joke that you're worried might offend somebody, but might make you a million new fans." But it's not that Rife doesn't think about what he's saying. In fact, he's developed a sort of litmus test for himself when he's developing an act. Appearing on a roundtable panel for Variety, Rife explained that for him, the difference between a joke that's offensive and one that's merely edgy is the intent of the comedian. He elaborated,
Now, are you trying to upset somebody, or are you trying to make light of a certain subject so that way it doesn't take up such a negative space in someone's mind and they can laugh about something that may have brought them so much grief?
Rife's not afraid of breaking new comedy ground either. His first of 2 Netflix specials, Matt Rife Lucid, a crowd work special, debuted in August 2024 and was a departure for both Rife and Netflix. The show consisted entirely of crowd work, with Rife generating laughs from his spontaneous interactions with members of the audience. Directed by comedian Eric Griffin, filming took place at the Comedy Zone in Charlotte, North Carolina, where in May 2024, Rife performed 6 sold-out shows with cameras on hand to film it all.
He was so funny. He engaged with the audience like he wanted to learn about everyone.
In order to keep things under wraps, members of the audience not only had to sign release forms in order to appear on camera, but were also ordered to hand over their phones so that footage wouldn't leak on the internet. Crowd work has long been a specialty of Rife's, even though it can be hit or miss. He believes that it keeps his stand-up skills sharpened, telling the Los Angeles Times, "It keeps me on my toes." Back in 2017, when Rife was just 21 years old, he briefly dated British movie star Kate Beckinsale, who was twice his age. That romance ended badly, but in 2023, Rife got involved with actor and dancer Jessica Lord, who's best known for starring in the Hulu series Find Me in Paris. Rife opened up about the relationship in an October 2023 interview with People, sharing, "It's newer, but I do prefer to keep it on the more private side." Surprisingly, for someone whose act is all about his personal life, he doesn't like to talk about it offstage. He credited Lord for keeping his life as balanced as possible while he was on tour, saying, "She forces me to take personal time, obviously, and I love that." At the time, Rife told Esquire that he was looking for a traditional relationship, admitting, "I know I am just in my mid to late 20s, but still, I do want a wife and a family and a prominent home life that makes me feel comfortable, safe, and is my peace." Unfortunately, the relationship didn't last, and in July 2024, TMZ reported that the couple had split. True to form, Rife addressed the split honestly and even somewhat vulnerably in his act.
I hate being single. This is so trash.
Like many comedians, Rife has ventured into acting, shooting guest spots on such TV sitcoms as Fresh Off the Boat and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But he also starred in an indie comedy feature, The Private Eye.
Really bad at this, huh?
Their name is Mort. But yeah.
Rife plays a hapless, broke PI named Mort Madison who scores a strange case. Private Eye was released on video and streaming in August 2024.
At least give me your name. Some detective.
If Rife gets his wish, he'll be doing a lot more acting, he told Deadline. "I love acting just as much, if not more than stand-up. I just haven't been doing it as long, and I haven't been able to get my foot in the door. I'm really looking forward to the next project that I work on in acting to be something I'm really proud of." There's no question that when Rife sets a goal, he works hard to achieve it. He wants to act, so according to an April 2024 report in Deadline, he was in the process of writing a new workplace sitcom set in a gym, starring himself, destined for Netflix. But as we've established, another constant in Rife's world is controversy, and as soon as the project was announced, the backlash began. An article popped up in the Mary Sue titled, "The Last Thing I Want is a Workplace Comedy" from Matt Rife. In writer Rachel Leishman's opinion, Rife has proven that his written jokes lean towards sexism, so why would I want to see an entire show where he's acting out said jokes? She went on to address the crowded workplace sitcom space, then brought it back to him with a withering prediction, writing, "Given how his last stand-up special went, I don't think that his premise is going to go well by any stretch of the imagination." Of course, the odds that Rife cares what she thinks are slim to none, leading toward none. In an episode of his paranormal ghost hunting series Overnight, Rife spent a night in the Rhode Island house that inspired The Conjuring. That night must have been far more enjoyable than he let on at the time, because afterward he seriously looked into buying the haunted home, telling E! News, "It's incredible. It's my favorite scary movie franchise by far. I think I could do incredible things with it."
And my biggest fear is the dark, dude. You don't know what's in there. You have no clue. I'll tell you what's in there, ghosts and monsters.
And it seems like it was more than just PR, because Rife's friend, comic Elton Casti, tweeted, "Hey, Conjuring House, myself and Matt Rife are ready and willing to buy it if you're keen to sell. Any date, we're ready to make it happen." At the time, Rife had already bought property in Rhode Island, not far from the Conjuring House. The lot is 80 acres and includes 2 4-bedroom homes. As Rife explained on the podcast Are You Garbage, "I got all that for probably the price of a 2-bedroom with no yard in LA." Like many celebrities, Rife receives gifts from fans. However, some of those gifts have veered into the weird category. In a sit-down with fellow comedian Tom Segura on the latter's Your Mom's House podcast, Rife shared, "I've gotten hair, I've gotten toenails, no letter to go with them, just in a bag."
At your shows, Matt, even grandmas be throwing their bras at you.
Then there are the fans who believe they have a close personal connection with him, not realizing they're the victims of online scammers. Rife explained, "So many people will come to shows and be like, Matt told me to come here. I sent him $1,000 last week." He went on to single out one particularly gullible fan who insisted she needed to meet Rife after a show. According to Rife, he was standing on the other side of the stage door listening to the woman interact with members of his security team.
And a lady was like, "I've been texting with Matt for weeks. We exchanged sexy photos together."
She tried to prove it by showing the bouncers her phone, insisting, "Look, he's texting me right now." Needless to say, Rife, who was listening to the exchange in real time, wasn't using his phone. Afterward, Rife had an important message for fans who believe they're communicating with him online.
"I'm never gonna ask for money.